Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. It's June 15th, Monday. We're going to review the 0-day options today on SPY and the small account challenge. Peace talk agreements over the weekend, so big gap up this morning. Gap is a trap oftentimes. Let's see, 741. Yeah, 10-point gap up. So hanging out up here. Need to build liquidity. Do its thing. This is the 30-minute chart. Is DG's. He's on Eric's Discord, which is in the description. Yep. So 5 days still below 20 here and here. We did break the green. Looks like I came down and retested it. We're kind of in the middle of the Bollinger Band still though on the daily, and we have FOMC on Wednesday, so we'll just see if it kind of continues to grind until then. Maybe a little closer to the moving averages tomorrow. Or just keep grinding up. I don't know. But new Fed chair. So it is kind of a big deal. We've had Powell for seems like forever. I think it was Obama that originally put him in. So yeah, I'm very curious how this goes with the new Fed chair. So that'll be on Wednesday. Anyways, yeah, this morning IV was lower, of course, because the gap up. Range was pretty good, like 5 points or so, but very grindy. I didn't take any trades in here. Kind of sorted out some of the algos, I think. Let's see what I have this morning. I had gray. Got resistance here, support here. Had a little bit of action there, you can see. And I maybe had gold. Not sure if I had gold yet. Purple I had, but it was a little different. I've adjusted it, which I don't even know if this is good. Had this precision green for buying, and just kind of grinded up. Came down. Didn't really make any nice structure here. This could be the inverse head for the shoulder, but let's see where I started trading. My first trade was at 1031, and it was a put. So basically came up. I was kind of waiting for it to break gray to get calls. Trying to find the inverse head, and it's just pretty grindy and choppy. I don't think I actually had gold at that point. I think it was further down, whatever I had. Or I potentially would have taken one here. Once it came up though, I did have a wedge pretty well identified right here with the gray as the resistance and the gold as support. So I actually grabbed a wedge trade with gray being my stop, looking for basically move down and hopefully completing the inverse cup, since this looked like it was lacking continuation to the upside. But regardless, I had clear stops and I was trying to open it as close as I could to it. So came up, rejected it big here. Nice big engulfing candle. I put a limit order somewhere up here. It didn't fill. This came, and then this came up and actually filled it. So, which was pretty nice because that's pretty close to my stop. And I was quickly kind of trying to figure out like profit zones. I mean, of course, the first one for me at that point would have been gold, in case it is still just in this wedge. I was anticipating that it would actually break just because this looks like a little head for the shoulder. But yeah, got that fill, and let's see, 753, 53, 52. Yeah, so it was like just over half a point, or about a half a point. Came down, and this happened pretty quick, but I actually closed it right about here, just because that gold, and that saved me. So, not being greedy on it and taking it on that first profit target really. Saved me on that one. So 77 cents to 93 cents. So not bad for a tiny move. My next one was, I canceled at 1049. It was a call. Yeah. So when it broke this gray here, I put an order for a call. I guess on this candle? No, it was earlier. Yeah, I was on this candle. I put an order. It didn't fill, and then I ended up canceling once it was up here and it came down. Would have filled it, but I wanted to cancel it just because the structure wasn't great, and it was still a tight range. It hadn't completed the cup. I thought there might have been another channel up here I wasn't seeing. I don't know. This none of the structure I liked very much, so I ended up canceling it. Which is fine. So I can't cancel the call there. It came up, basically completed the cup here, but just didn't really give a nice shoulder for the breakout. This green, I didn't have this charted. I only had this one at that point. So, but it did break out of this little gray, tiny little structure here. Not even really a structure, just broke out of the gray and continued on. So, yeah, once green was charted, of course, this would have been much easier to grab it here or even here and manage a risk with that, but I didn't quite have that. But even so, it just didn't make a nice like inverse head and shoulder any kind of handle here for this cup close. So I was kind of waiting for the retest on gray. Never happened. I came up here, started building more liquidity, looking for an inverse head down here. I stepped away somewhere in here, and yeah, I came up. I still had gold. We still had resistance up here. Came up, rejected that first one, and I missed this candle. I wasn't here. I potentially, depending on how this candle looked, how fast it retested, I might have gotten a call there or somewhere around there. Hard to know how. I don't know how fast that candle was. Maybe it was way too fast for me to do it, but I was looking for a retest on gray. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have though. Would have been a pretty aggressive trade, but maybe because I mean that is where I had my resistance initially, even though it kind of grinded above here. Yeah. And then kept buying up in green. Broke this gold. Rallied up to here. I was kind of away for some of this too. But yeah, I kept buying up in green, which could have been a nice, just easy trade to hold through. My next trade was at 12.26. It did break up here out of the gold, and I considered it. Like, I really don't want to take a breakout trade like this. I'm not too successful with them, and I left it, thankfully. So big crazy rejection candle, a lot of volume. There was actually a little gap up here from a week or two ago, I think last week. So that didn't get filled. Started coming down. I charted gray, of course, on this high. And don't mind this gray, that wasn't there yet. And it came down, and I thought this could be a little structure up here. Let's see, what was I thinking? Where was I? 12.26. So actually 12.26, I got a call. Yep. So this one closed above just barely. The structure that was there it was small, but I got a call on this candle. It filled on that candle, and then it closed below, and then I got out on. Wait, actually, I got two there. Yeah, 68 cents and then 66 cents. Got them both there, and stopped out of them right here on this candle once it looked like it was fully rejecting. So little red trade there. It did break out, and I was like, I gotta just leave it in case it needs to make another cup or just structure that I'm not seeing. But thankfully, I think, yeah, I left it there. And it ended up coming down, and then I moved. I did some charting then to try and figure out what was going on. Move this up here, and later on, let's see, my next trade. Next trade was at 104. Yeah, so it really just sat through all of this. My least aggressive buying I had was this gold at that point, so considered if it broke gold to get puts, but I was like, there's probably something much lower going on. Let's see, 104. Okay, so with that in mind, oh, it did have a big doji candle here. I thought this was maybe the inverse head for this little shoulder to make its way back up to continue this bull flag to fill that gap. So this candle came, and I was trying to get him on here. I just didn't end up getting in until here. I got a call here. Nice fill on it. That was with a gold retest, a gray retest, and kind of using gold for my stop. Looking for a move up to this gray. I maybe had this red chart at that point. I think I did. Yeah, I did have red. I thought this might be the bullish controlled selling just from these resistances, but I wasn't sure. There just wasn't a lot of price action for me to see it. Like it might have shown up here a little bit too. Anyways, yeah, had an entry right here for calls. I just got one, 65 cents. Came up, was looking good, kind of stalling out, and I think I probably had this one over there at that point, or maybe even that steeper one. Yeah, anyways, it was a wedge trade, a zombie trade. And I think once it broke my green precision, I was like, yeah, I'll just dump this thing. Oh no, that's right, I forgot. It wasn't because it broke that. It was because I was holding through this. I was trying to just, yeah, I was trying to hold it, and I'm like, I'll give it a little bit of room, you know, gold at least. And then this candle just went, boom, tons of volume, ripped down there. I didn't have a stop on, of course. I do manual stops as much as I can. Ripped down there, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't know what's going on. So came back up, wicked, and I actually closed it somewhere on this candle for a small green, if you can believe it. I thought about just holding it because it was kind of retesting more or less. It wicked, but I was like, no, that means that kind of invalidates the structure that I was thinking it was. Of course, this then could be the inverse head, which it kind of ended up being. It just lacked continuation. So sure, I could have held it through that, but after that candle, I was fine to get out of it. It's a Monday. We've got FOMC on Wednesday. Big gap up. There's a lot of reasons why this will just trap and grind, and so 65 cents to 68 cents. So a little green trade on that, and that did end up coming up. Broke the gray. Let's see. Okay, so I got in a call right here on a break of this gray. I think I still had red here at that point, but maybe not. Maybe I hadn't charted that yet. So this one closed above it. This one I got in on a limit order and then just started selling. So 85 cents in. I held through all of this on this one because this time of day, like, could break it and then kind of build the structure. And I wanted to give it somewhat of a rejection of this liquidity right here as my stop. So if it starts to grab this, then yeah, I'm out. But I kind of gave it this support more or less, kind of right where it bounced on. So it came down, went against me. I was like, the range is pretty tight today though. So it wasn't crazy to hold, but didn't feel good there. And of course it looks like a clear rejection now in gray. And I think that's probably when I started charting this one. But anyways, it rallied back up a bit. And then it broke back up above gray and was kind of grinding there. And I just didn't want to sit on it anymore. It was a little bit green for times, and then it kind of go red. This was a 756. So yeah, it was in the money. The next one out of the money was too far, and I didn't like the delta on it. So I think I cut it. Let's see. I cut it right here on this candle. So before that red candle, thankfully. It just wasn't continuing on. And I figured there was something else up here I wasn't seeing. So cut it there. Was a small loss. It could have been a small gainer, but it's whatever. 85 cents to 80. So I gave back some of my small green that I was at that point. And then it kind of grinded down. I didn't really know where. I didn't see any structure. So I was kind of sitting on my hands. I didn't know where exactly I would take puts for the retracement. Like maybe on gold, but I already kind of broke it. Broke it again there. I kept charting, so I charted this gray then from these resistances, that support, then kind of showing up here resistance to support. I don't know when exactly I charted that, but I kind of just let all this go. I think it was selling. I think it was selling in this gray from noon on, but I wasn't sure the whole time. I mean, it was kind of hard to see. And then it looked like it was the bearish building liquidity with this gray right here, which of course, now in hindsight, it's nice. Like, could have easily taken puts here with these two resistances or here. But yeah, a grind chop. I didn't get involved. I don't know. I could have. I mean, nice little liquidity here for a little head and shoulder. I guess it just seemed like it was in the middle of a wedge, and I wasn't even too confident on this gray at that point because it had broken it here and then didn't go anywhere. So it was really kind of the supports that was looking more like it. So yeah, I didn't actually take any trades in there. And then coming down to the 10-minute move, I really wanted if it broke here, then I probably would have gotten calls, but my lack of confidence in gray, I wasn't sure if I would. I thought I might, and just take quick profits. It rejected and it made nice little head and shoulders on the 10 minutes. So prior, I would have gotten puts here because I'm kind of looking for a little head and shoulders in the last 10-minute move and just taking it that way. So I would have this was actually pretty slow candle and pretty slow selling. So I would have, old me would have gotten puts here, which on this day in this trade, it would have worked. And oftentimes it maybe does when it's clear like this. But the fact that we're just still in a wedge and yeah, I wasn't as enthusiastic about just taking it because of that little head and shoulders. Because I didn't really have a profit target. Like, I guess this gray down here, which did end up getting close, but this selling was tough. I don't know. This trade would have worked, but I just, yeah, wasn't into it after such a grind. So end of the day with just those trades. Pretty simple. Yeah, as I get better, maybe I'll be able to do better, but it's a green day, so I'm happy about that because this is definitely a day I would have easily just been red 20 or 30 bucks and would have been no different, but might as well just be green a little bit. You know, a small amount will, once it's a large amount, it'll start mattering. Yeah, actually seeing this now. Yeah, see, I didn't even, this wasn't even charted when we were here. It was only up here I started charting this. So this could have been an easy trade right here. If I had charted this back here. Oh, we maybe even had it there too. Interesting. Because it's breaking this like bearish controlled buying and going to that steeper one. Did do it there too. Yeah, look at that. So if I identified that sooner, that could have definitely been a possibility. I only had the gold for the top of the range, but it was actually this gray even back here. Because if you break that, you can get it on the retest, and then it does it again here. Breaking it, get on that retest. Breaking it, get on the retest. Yeah. Okay, so there were some options. It was the breakout trade that would have, at least to my eyes, which would have worked. That's interesting. Yeah, and then when it happened up here, of course, it flipped into resistance, so it could have gotten on the resistance. Then here. Okay, yeah, I didn't have that charted, so lack of confidence in the charting because it wasn't great. Kept me good today. Kept me safe, clear. Thanks guys, sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.